Hey guys, Sandy here and welcome to another Fun with Distress Oxides video. I have my Distress Oxides, I have some water. Today I'm going to play with a black background and I have two photo options. Not sure which one I'm going to go with yet, but let's see what I can do. Okay, so I have four Distress Oxide colors here that I have pulled out. I have Wilted Violet, Evergreen Bough, Broken China, and Worn Lipstick. And this is not some sort of like crazy, holy moly, Sandy, how in the world did you do that type technique. This is just something fun to do with your Distress Oxide, something maybe basic that you could probably do with any Distress Oxide colors that you enjoyed. So what I've done is just inked up my ink blending tool, and I'm just doing kind of like a swirly bit of a line, and I'm going all the way off the edge from one side to almost all the way on the other, a little bit more than 3/4 of the way. And I do this with all four colors, and you can see that I have four very distinct line of colors. However, I am going to go back and then I'm going to blend them in just ever so slightly. I really like the way Distress Oxides look on black backgrounds. It takes on a whole different effect than what you do on white or even a craft paper. Look at me, guys. I remember what craft was called this week. For some reason, craft, I just want to call that sucker khaki. Like, it's just the life I live, I guess. So here I am, and I'm blending it in just a little bit better. So you can still see that there are four distinct colors, but they blend together a little bit less garishly. Like, you're not seeing like wha-bam, new color. At least to me, I think they blend a little bit better. Now, I was having trouble getting the little ink puff or whatever that sucker's called off of the blending tool, so I grabbed a what is this? A paper towel just to help me yank it off a little bit. So that is going to do it. And now I'm taking my Distress sprayer. It really does put out this fine spray, and I just spray it all over. I squeeze the trigger ever so slowly to get a couple big drops, and then I even squirt some water into my hand and flick it around. Now, water is what makes those Distress Oxides actually oxide, and I really love watching it. It's part of the favorite part of the process when you're playing with Distress Oxides is watching what the water does to it. So I'm not cutting this out for you. I am just leaving it on there, and you can see how the colors kind of lighten and oxidize right there in front of you. And I just think that that is the coolest thing ever. I actually think I'm going to do an entire background like this instead of just a little bit of a feature on the background. And then I decide, oh, I should probably put a little bit of color up here, and I give that a squirt as well, just to make that oxidize a little bit. I don't do any of the big dots up there, and I kind of wish I did. You see the big dots on the bottom part on the finished layout, but you don't really see them up at the top. But, you know, that's the way it goes sometimes. So I'm deciding that I don't want to bring a whole lot of paper or a whole lot of layers into this, but as you guys know, I do love my layers. So I'm deciding to bring in some washi tape. And these are some washi strips from Gossamer Blue. Gossamer Blue is no longer in business. They had some awesome scrapbooking and traveler's notebook supplies back in the day. They're just great. I might kind of be hoarding them a little bit because I know once they're gone and I can never get them again. It makes me a little sad. But anyway, I'm pulling out these colors, lots of the greenies and the teals. I do pull out a little bit of pink because I want that pink to pop a little bit more up at the top. The other colors are definitely stronger than that Worn Lipstick color up at the top. And I could have combated that two ways. I could bring more pink into the layout just so that it pulls more like from the background into the foreground. Or I could have added more of the Distress Oxide actual ink I didn't want to add more ink, so I just decided to pull in the pink with my embellishment. So that is why I chose to use that big old pink washi tape. And like I said, totally happy with this. I'm really liking how you can kind of see the texture of the paper behind the washi tape. This is not a smooth cardstock. This is American Crafts textured black cardstock. Sometimes I want it smooth, sometimes I like the texture. This time, since I felt like I was going for kind of a more simple page, less layers than I'm usually doing, a whole lot less paper, I decided to go with the texture. So there we go. Now I have this little plaid bit. It does have the green, the black, and the pink. It also has a tiny, tiny, tiny little bit of yellow in it. And I figured the yellow was a good enough nod to the wood veneer that I'm going to be using on this layout that I'm okay with introducing that yellow color. So I am using this acetate piece as my photo mat. Like I said, a lot less paper here, guys. Like this is a big deal for me. While I am going ahead and trimming that photo mat down, I just want to remind you guys that this is a series. It's a 4-week series. At first I called it a 6, but that was wrong. So there are a couple of us crafty ladies that are doing this 4-week series. This is week number 3, so one more layout. So make sure that you click on those links down in the description box below. That way you can check out what everybody else is coming up with their Distress Oxides. And maybe you know everything that we're doing and it's just something fun for you to watch, or maybe you're learning something and that would be awesome as well. So I did not make you guys watch me cut out that little bit of cardstock right there to fit within the frame. And the color of this cardstock almost matches the Distress Oxide below it, so I'm cool with it. I'm going to add some of these cameras in. These are Freckled Fawn puffy stickers from way back in the day. I'm just going to send them or spread them around the page. Now this is a photograph of my son. He was getting ready. Let's see. We had sent him back after boot camp and he did not wear his uniform on the flight, but he did put it on when he got there. So he was just sending me a picture of himself because I do love seeing my son in any of his uniforms. So that is what he did for me. Not a great photo by any means. There's like shaving cream and a basket of toiletries and all kinds of stuff. I mean, heck, guys, there's like a urinal in the background. And not that I make it a habit of scrapbooking photos with toilets on YouTube. This is a moment for me and I wanted to do it. So there it is. And that's where the Hi Mom title that I'm getting ready to put on is going to come from. Now there will be no journaling on this layout. There will be a insert that I put in where I'm just going to have a lot of journaling, and it's going to be a lot of journaling. So I didn't want to put it on a page. I have a couple layouts throughout my albums where it's basically just a tiny bit of decoration on a page and a full page of me writing. And I think that that might be how this one goes. It might be a full 12 by 12, might be a 6 by 12, whatever. But whatever, that's how I'm envisioning this layout being complete with the journaling behind it. Now I did add some of those epoxy sparkly enamel dots. Makes me super happy. And then I'm thinking I need more wood veneer. That frame is just kind of like, well, bam, there in your face. And it just needs something else. There needs to be a little bit more wood veneer. So I go into my little wood veneer box and I find a heart and I put it up here at the top. I figure I have this big heart here. It's a main element of the page. I definitely can bring a heart up here. Now I was playing around with adding a tab up here, and I probably would have kept that larger tab and added those label stickers and stuff afterwards, but I had already put it down. I knew that if I tried to pick it up, it might pull up some of the Distress Oxide, so I just went and found a different wood veneer to use. I even tried that little round tab, but that didn't go. I ended up going with an arrow, and I felt that that was, you know, hearts and arrows worked well enough that it was okay to put it there. So I'm going to drop that down there, and then that's going to do it for my layout, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and like I said, please make sure you check out everybody else's Fun with Distress Oxide videos this week, and then stay tuned for next week when we do our final video. Have a good one, guys.